Hey, everyone. In this video we're going to take an in-depth look at the Dry Soon Drying Pod User Manual. Overview. Outer cover. Fold-away close rack. Upper pole. Connector. Lower pole. Fan cover. Fan. Power unit. Minute timer. Power indicator light. Air intake with a mesh filter. Detachable tripod feet. Setting up your drying pod for the first time. Carefully unpack the drying pod and remove all the packaging. With the power unit switched off and unplugged, push the tripod feet firmly into the holes on the underside of the unit. Fit the lower pole into the hole on top of the power unit, turning it clockwise to tighten. Fit the upper pole into the connector on the top of the lower pole, turning it clockwise to tighten. Sit the fold-away close rack onto the upper pole, turning it clockwise to tighten. Instructions for use. Firstly, make sure the drying pod is fully assembled, unplugged and switched off. Place your laundry onto coat hangers and hook them onto the clothes rack, spacing them out evenly for best results. Load evenly across the clothes rack to avoid the drying pod tipping over. Do not exceed the maximum load for the drying pod of kg. Unzip the outer cover and place it over the clothes. Zip up the cover and make sure it is pulled well down over the metal fan. Plug in and switch on the drying pod at the main socket. To use the drying pod without the timer, turn the dial anticlockwise to on. The fan will start working straight away, filling the outer cover with warm air to dry the clothes. When the set drying time has elapsed, the drying pod will automatically shut off. Storing your drying pod. The drying pod is designed to be easily taken apart for compact storage after use. Always switch off, unplug and let the drying pod cool down completely before taking it apart and storing it away. Simply follow the steps in setting up your drying pod for the first time in reverse. Check the fan vents and the air intake holes on the underside of the power unit to make sure they are clear of blockages. Check the parts for wear or damage after every few uses. Store the drying pod with the power cable loosely coiled. Warnings. Always switch off and unplug the drying pod after use, leaving it to cool down completely before storing it away. The appliance must be placed on a level dry surface at least meters away from heat or water sources. Ensure the appliance is folded out securely before loading it with laundry and switching it on. When opening and closing the fold-away close rack, never use force. Keep fingers away from folding parts. Do not overload the drying pod. The maximum load of the error is kg. Clothes should be spin-dried in your washing machine or well wrung by hand before being placed in the drying pod. For more updates, subscribe to our channel.